So if you watched all my Holocure videos, you'll notice that most of my advice is focused primarily on stage mode. Why? Because stage mode is the main method for progressing through the game. It's how you unlock subsequent stages and how you get characters to Gachikoi rank in the fandom system, which you can't really do in endless mode. As such, stage mode is pretty important for the majority of fledgling players whom these videos are the target audience. So, what's the difference between stage mode and endless mode? Well, there's only one real difference. The final boss does not mark the end of the game, and you can keep playing for even longer afterwards. Unfortunately, this one minor change forces you to completely reevaluate how you're playing in general, and many decisions that would have served you well in stage mode may end up biting you in the ass in endless mode. The first of those decisions revolves around Anvils. I never touch on Anvils very much because in stage mode, Anvils are not too significant, and I can never get them even with credit card because the gods hate me. There's a limit on how many levels you can get in stage mode due to the final boss's death ending the game, so you are using those 20 minutes to essentially prepare for your final showdown and get as many levels as you can. As such, Anvils are primarily used to add a bonus level up to any weapon or item that you already have to get them closer to max level, and you pretty much are never using them to overlevel any weapon since every level matters in stage mode. However, in endless mode, levels matter a lot less. Anvils, therefore, are not bonus level ups, they are the primary method for boosting the damage of your weapons, and you should be using Anvils exclusively to overlevel your starting weapon and collabs in endless mode. Because of the emphasis on Anvils and the de-emphasis on levels, the items you need to increase your growth changes. I initially recommended study glasses due to the importance of levels in stage mode. A 5-level investment for a 20-level return is worth sacrificing an item slot when you need as many levels to get as many collabs to deal with the final boss. However, in endless mode, where the final boss is not the end, study glasses kind of becomes worthless and you shouldn't bother with it at all. Because you can easily get to a high level in endless mode, sacrificing an item slot to boost your level gain is not worth it, and you should be using that item slot for something more valuable. In endless mode, where Anvils are your main source of increasing DPS, credit card and blacksmith's gear are far more valuable, and you shouldn't be using any Anvils until you've maxed out both of these items. When you overlevel a weapon, you increase the weapon's base damage by 2. However, with a maxed out blacksmith's gear, that boost becomes 3, and since you can use Anvils twice with blacksmith's gear, you effectively get a boost of 6 instead. In addition, overleveling costs hollow coins, so credit card is useful for lowering the cost needed for the process. In addition to blacksmith's gears and credit card, the item you should be grabbing in endless mode is Holu. Anvils have a small drop rate from defeated enemies. Since Holu increases the number of enemies that will spawn, this means that you will not only get more XP, but also get potentially more Anvils, which is why nearly every endless mode loadout uses Holu. Now, the last thing I want to mention is stat boosts. When you've maxed out the levels of everything, your level up will instead give you the option of boosting your stats instead. I've never touched on this because it doesn't happen often enough in stage mode to be worth talking about. However, in endless mode, you're going to be getting a lot of these stat boosts, so knowing what stats to prioritize will be good to know. The most important stat is speed. Odd choice, but as the game progresses, enemies get harder and harder to kill, so being able to outrun them is going to become the best way to beat them. I personally prioritize max health next because I do not have much in the way of mechanical skill and still graze enemies a lot, so having extra room for error is nice for me. Afterwards, damage and haste are important, and the least valuable stat boosts in my opinion are crit chance and pickup range. Pickup range is nice, but since it doesn't actually help you survive, it's pretty low on the priorities, and is only really useful when you compare it to crit chance. While increasing your crit chance is useful, once you've increased it to 100%, any extra boosts to it become worthless, since you can't get a higher chance to crit enemies than a guaranteed one. So that's endless mode. I'll probably have to make another video on the topic since there's a lot more of it that I haven't covered. However, one thing I hope for in the future is that there will be a button that will allow you to switch to endless mode after completing stage mode. Even Bloons Tower Defense had this function. Thanks for watching, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and happy holocuring.